A friend of mine recently bought a house at a pretty low price. It was in a prime location, close to schools, close to the market, and the transportation was convenient too. But when he sent me a few photos of the inside of the house, I noticed that the front door and the back door were lined up perfectly with each other, so from outside, you could see straight through the entire house. So I got curious and asked whether, after moving in, he had noticed anything unusual happening. He told me, things like that actually happen quite often. Money seemed to disappear more than usual on replacing household items. Then relatives would ask to borrow money, and there were extra sanitation fees and other added expenses. In general, they were all small, random costs, but little by little they kept adding up until it became a pretty big financial drain and hard to keep up with. After hearing his story, I suddenly remembered that in Feng Shui, houses where the front door opens straight through to the back door are often considered one of the most unfavorable layouts. It is said to cause the homeowner's money to come in through the front door and then slip right back out through the back door, making it very difficult to save anything. And from everyone's stories, I put everything together and made today's video, the types of houses you should not buy or rent. I hope these insights will help you recognize and stay away from bad house layouts so you do not accidentally bring trouble and bad luck into your life. Now, let us get started. The trade-off behind cheap houses. A house priced unusually low can be a warning sign of a hidden trade-off. There is an old saying, first location, second direction, meaning a home's placement and orientation matter greatly. A house is where energy moves every day, along with the people living inside it. When the shape or layout is off balance, the energy flow can become disturbed. Over time, that may lead to an unstable life, money that is hard to keep, and a family that faces ongoing troubles. Buying or renting a bargain-priced house may look like a smart deal at first, but in reality, you may end up using your own energy and future financial luck to make up for the home's hidden flaws. From traditional home selection wisdom, when energy gathers, people thrive. When energy scatters, people decline. Cheap houses often come with severe, harmful layouts that block or force energy to rush too aggressively, upsetting the balance of the five elements. Living too long in a structurally flawed home is like living inside a sick body. No matter how hard the owner tries, things still fall apart. Business suffers losses, family tensions grow, and health declines badly. The harmful energy in these homes works like a financial black hole. Money comes in, but it tends to disappear through sudden problems or poor decisions caused by mental stress in a negative environment. That is why before buying a property that seems like a bargain, you should carefully examine its structure and the land it sits on. In many cases, the cost of fixing or correcting a badly designed house is far greater than the money saved at the time of purchase. So understanding a home's architectural form can help you avoid risks and make a safer, long-term decision for your family. And next, here are some bad house types you should avoid if you do not want your money and good luck to slowly drain away. Bad house types to stay away from. Group 1. Structural problems inside the house. Number 1. L-shaped houses. L-shaped houses are considered a serious missing corner design because their form resembles an axe or a butcher's blade. In Feng Shui, this is called a cutting energy formation, a dangerous type of negative force aimed directly at the home's life flow. Unlike square layouts that allow energy to circulate smoothly in a balanced way, an L-shaped house forces the energy to turn sharply, creating strong conflict at the bend. When positive energy enters this type of house, it often gets trapped at the corner, turning the center into a dark, stagnant zone with too little yang energy. If the extended section is too long and narrow, the energy gets stretched too far and begins to scatter, weakening the owner's ability to accumulate wealth. No matter how much money is earned, it often slips away through sudden setbacks following that broken energy flow. The impact can become worse depending on which side is missing. If the missing section is on the left when viewed from outside, it is considered a weakened green dragon formation, which can reduce the authority of the main breadwinner, damage reputation, and leave that person without support from helpful people. If the missing part is on the right, it creates a weakened white tiger formation, which directly affects family stability and the health of the woman in the home. The energy there becomes more aggressive, causing arguments, tension, and constant unease among family members. Especially when the extended arm of the L is too long, the blade-like negative force can create an unstable life pattern, making accidents or sudden injuries more likely. Living long-term in this kind of house can distort a person's energy field through sharp angles and imbalance, turning what should be a place of rest into a source of silent stress that blocks lasting growth. To reduce the effects of an L-shaped house, the owner can place plants, a small landscape feature, lighting, or a small covering in the recessed corner to make the shape feel more complete. This can help stabilize the energy flow and reduce breaks in wealth energy at the bend of the L. Number 2. The direct piercing layout. In Feng Shui, the main door is seen as the mouth of energy, where life force enters and nourishes the whole house. But one very common architectural problem that causes wealth to vanish is the direct piercing layout. This happens when the front door lines up in a straight path with the back door or an opposite balcony. According to the principle of gathering wind and holding energy, energy should move gently in a curved path so it can spread through the home. When the front and back openings face each other directly, the energy rushes straight in and straight out, creating a strong negative force that carries away the owner's money and luck. Families living in homes with this layout often experience periods when money comes in quickly, only to disappear just as fast through unexpected expenses, leaving nothing stable to build on. This is an energetically empty house, where good energy cannot stay long enough to support the people inside. The loss becomes even worse when the owner places energy-conflicting objects near the main door. A common example is putting a large mirror directly across from the entrance. Because a mirror reflects energy back, it can push away good fortune just as it starts to enter. Even worse is when the front door opens straight toward a bathroom or the kitchen. A bathroom carries heavy yin energy, so facing the energy entrance can contaminate the incoming flow, leading to bad luck and ongoing health problems. The kitchen belongs to the fire element, so when outside energy rushes straight into it, it can create a fire-burning wealth effect, making the family more irritable, more divided, and more likely to lose money quickly. If the front door faces a staircase or elevator, that is another harmful layout in which wealth energy is pulled away or scattered, often leaving the owner in debt or constant financial strain. The entrance area should also be clean, bright, quiet, and open. Piles of shoes, trash, or old items placed at the energy entrance can block the flow and create a heavy atmosphere throughout the house. One common way to correct this layout is to place a screen between the front and back doors. This helps slow the energy and force it to turn before spreading through the rest of the house. Many families also place a small decorative rug near the front door to create a stopping point for the energy as it enters. Group 2. Problems caused by outside forces. Number 1. The fire Sha layout. Based on traditional land selection wisdom, triangular lots are considered highly unfavorable because they carry some of the strongest negative energy. Their 3 sharp corners are associated with intense fire energy, which creates heat, instability, and constant disturbance in the land's energy flow. In Feng Shui, these sharp corners are often called poisoned arrows. They act like points that gather harsh energy and shoot it straight into the living space, breaking up the natural, gentle flow of positive energy as soon as it reaches the property. When energy moves into a triangular lot, it gets compressed into the pointed corners instead of circulating smoothly. This creates fire Sha, which is believed to burn away wealth and good fortune. In real life, people living on this kind of land may find their finances unstable, with money poured into work or investments only to disappear quickly. Even more troubling, fire Sha is often linked to ongoing legal problems, arguments, and endless conflict. People living there may become more short-tempered, more easily irritated, and more likely to feel mentally trapped or extreme in their thinking because of the heavy pressure created by those dead corners of energy. To reduce this problem, the main living areas should be kept away from the pointed corners. Those corners are better used for gardens, flower beds, or decorative landscaping, so the negative force stays outside the home. Using curved lines or round shapes in the interior can also help soften the effect, following the idea that water energy can calm excessive fire energy. Number 2. The Spear Sha layout. Spear Sha, also known as direct assault Sha, is like a long spear aimed straight at the throat of the house. It happens when a road, alley, or even a waterway runs straight toward the front door. Since the front door is where energy enters the home, a direct line like this causes the energy to rush in too fast and too forcefully, making the inside of the house feel unstable. People living in homes with this layout are often said to face sudden trouble, accidents, and health issues, especially problems related to blood circulation. When the incoming force is too strong, it can also leave people feeling constantly tense, restless, and unable to fully relax. Financially, this is considered a place where wealth is hard to keep. No matter how much effort goes into saving or building stability, that harsh flow tends to sweep it away. Money may come in fast, but it can disappear just as suddenly through surprise expenses or business setbacks. The strength of this negative effect also depends on the size of the road. The longer and narrower it is, the stronger the pressure aimed at the house. Still, there are exceptions. If the road is much narrower than the width of the house, or if the property is used for business, the harmful effect may be reduced. In some cases, the constant movement of people and traffic can even activate the space in a useful way and help commercial activity. To soften this layout, homeowners often use a convex bagua mirror to reflect and deflect the rushing energy so it does not strike the front door directly. Understanding and fixing this problem early can make a big difference, helping the house stay calmer and more balanced despite the pressure of the surrounding streets. Number 3. The Heaven's Cleaver Sha layout. In modern cities, one layout that Feng Shui practitioners are especially cautious about is Heaven's Cleaver Sha. This happens when a house directly faces a narrow gap between two tall buildings in front of it. From a distance, that gap can look like a giant blade coming down from the sky, splitting the energy flow and forcing it into a narrow channel, which disrupts the balance of the surrounding space. This layout is believed to create a cutting kind of energy. People living in homes like this may become more irritable, emotionally unstable, and mentally stressed for long periods of time. It is also considered a major cause of sudden financial loss, where the homeowner may earn well but still struggle to hold on to money. It becomes even more harmful when that gap points straight at a bedroom window, a place that should be quiet and restorative. When the harsh energy enters the sleeping area, it is said to disturb the body deeply, causing chronic insomnia, recurring nightmares, and long-term exhaustion. The closer the house is to the gap, the stronger the effect becomes. If the gap is deep and narrow, the energy feels even sharper, like a blade hanging over the home day and night, threatening the family's peace and long-term stability. To deal with Heaven's Cleaver Sha, some homeowners place pairs of brass dragon turtles or pixiu facing the narrow gap to help counter the force. But the most reliable solution is still to avoid homes facing this kind of formation from the start, because the cost can be heavy in both health and finances. Number 4. The Lonely Yang Sha layout. Lonely Yang Sha is a special kind of negative layout that happens when a house sits too close to power substations, high-voltage poles, or telecom towers. In Feng Shui, these structures are seen as carrying extremely strong fire energy. Living too close to this kind of pure yang force can throw off the balance of yin and yang in the environment. According to the 5 elements, when fire energy becomes too strong, it weakens metal, which is linked to the lungs and financial stability, and dries up water, which is associated with the kidneys and mental clarity. Because of that, people living near these structures may feel constantly irritated, emotionally unstable, and more likely to lose control of their reactions. This excess fire energy can also create more conflict in the household. Small disagreements may turn into bigger arguments, gradually damaging the harmony of the family. In terms of finances, homes near these structures are often believed to have trouble holding wealth. The homeowner may face sudden failed investments or poor business decisions because the mind is clouded by this harsh energy. If the power structure happens to sit in the home's wealth area, the effect is considered even worse, making the owner's career feel unstable and difficult to improve. To reduce the impact, homeowners can strengthen earth energy by using quartz, ceramic items, or similar materials to help absorb and balance the force, following the principle that fire creates earth. Another method is to use water element objects, such as a wooden gourd charm or a fish tank, to help cool and weaken the heat of the negative energy. Still, if the distance is too close, this type of Sha can be very difficult to control, so avoiding these electromagnetic hotspots from the beginning is usually the safest choice for the whole family. Group 3. Problems caused by stagnant and negative energy. Number 1. House at the end of a dead-end alley. When choosing a place to live, many people assume a house at the end of a dead-end alley must be quiet and private. But in Feng Shui, this location is often seen as a place where energy gets trapped. A dead-end alley is like a river with no outlet. So by the time positive energy reaches the very end, it has already weakened. At the same time, dust, daily waste, and negative energy from all the houses in front tend to collect there, turning the area into a pocket of stale and polluted energy. People who live in this kind of house for a long time are often affected by what is called blocked energy. When energy cannot move, it slowly shifts from healthy energy into harmful stagnant energy. Being surrounded by heavy yin energy can make people feel passive, mentally drained, and lacking in drive or fresh ideas. In terms of life direction, this type of house often creates a feeling of being stuck, unable to move forward or backward. Opportunities for success and career growth may feel cut off because the energy entering the home is too weak to support wealth or progress. On top of that, a house at the end of a dead-end alley can also create a negative version of a one-road, one-house effect. All the pressure moving through the alley hits the wall at the very end, then bounces back or pushes hard into the front door, creating ongoing energy conflict. The longer and narrower the alley is, the worse this pressure becomes, almost like living at the bottom of a funnel filled with stale air. That can lead to family tension, emotional isolation, and a lack of support from others. To improve this kind of blocked energy, the homeowner should focus on bringing in more light, improving ventilation, and adding air-purifying plants such as snake plants or money trees to help reduce some of the stale energy. Number 2. Exposed beam overhead. An exposed beam pressing down from above is considered one of the most harmful hidden flaws in a house. A structural beam, especially a reinforced concrete beam, carries the weight of the building, so it is believed to hold a very heavy pressure field. When that beam is exposed directly above important places like the bed, the altar, or the stove, it creates a downward force of negative energy. Traditional Feng Shui teaches that the energy moving beneath a beam becomes compressed and disturbed, spreading a heavy and chaotic feeling through that area. People who sleep under a beam often have restless sleep, vivid dreams, and wake up feeling exhausted, as if they had been carrying something heavy all night. If a beam hangs over the altar, family luck may feel suppressed, and future generations may struggle to thrive because the spiritual energy of the space is being pressed down. One of the worst cases is when a beam sits over the kitchen stove. The stove represents the health of the woman of the house and the family's wealth. When the stove's fire energy is pressed down by a beam, it can create pent-up fire energy, which may affect the woman's health and leave the family constantly short on money, earning a lot but spending just as much. People living in homes with too many exposed beams often feel like they can never fully rise in life. Even if they are talented, they may still face pressure from above or invisible obstacles that keep holding them back. The best way to fix this problem is to install a ceiling that fully covers the beam, helping spread the pressure more evenly across the room. If that is not possible, some homeowners hang 2 bamboo flutes tied with red ribbon at both ends of the beam, with the flute openings facing upward, to symbolically redirect the heavy energy and reduce the pressure. After all, a home is meant to be a place that restores the spirit and renews our energy. In the end, whether we talk about Feng Shui or architecture, the goal is still harmony between people and the space they live in. When you understand how energy moves through a home, you can take better care of your living space in a more thoughtful and active way. If you have any questions about Feng Shui, please leave them in the comments below so we can explore them together in future videos. Goodbye, and see you again next time.